Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back once again to another Minecraft tutorial. Today, as you can see, we're up back by the Baron's house once again, and we're going to be making him a little personal blacksmith. So it's not going to be anything too huge, but I think it's going to fit up here quite nicely, and it's going to be really cozy and just kind of fit the overall mood and size of this town. Now, don't worry, we are going to be making a rather large blacksmith once we get over to the main city itself, but that is going to be saved for another day. And just in case you guys are wondering how big you need to make this, here's sort of the little floor layout. Just keep in mind that there are going to be certain sections that stick out a bit more, especially the roof. There is going to be a bit of an overhang on that, so just keep that in mind when you're kind of trying to find yourself a space to build this. Now, to begin with, we're going to do something a little different. So instead of raising each one of these pillars up 4, we're going to raise them up 5 instead, because as you can see, the door itself is going to be raised. And by the way, the door is going to be 2 blocks over from that far one on the right. So to start this off, we're going to place the first pillar right here. Then we're going to skip a total of 5. So there's going to be a gap of 5 in the middle, and then that's going to be enough room for our next pillar over here on the right. Then we'll move over to the right side of the build itself, and we'll skip a gap of 3, place this one here, and then we'll skip another gap of 3 and place this. Now the back side, it's going to consist of 2 gaps of 2, so we'll place that one in the middle, leaving the gaps on either side of it, and then on the far right, we will also place another pillar. And then this left side of the build over here, this is going to be the exact same as on that one, so just match it up to the best of your ability and place that pillar right in the middle, and it should leave you with 2 gaps of 3 on both sides of that. And if you're wondering what this section over here is, it's going to be sort of the outdoor smithing area, but we are going to save this for later on. So back to the main portion, what you need to do now is just connect all of these pillars with a crossbeam. And then one more thing you can do as well is place some sticky addy bits. Now these things are going to be placed on all the sides of the pillars, and then you may also want to consider placing one in the middle of the front as well, just to give it a little more detail. Now for the walls, it's going to be a little different than usual because most of the time we will just do 1 row of these stone brick full blocks on the bottom, but for this case we are going to do 2. And then on top of this, of course, just like we usually do, we'll fill in the rest of it with our cobblestone, and then after all this is put in, we can start carving out some of our windows. Now for placing the windows, I've decided I'm only going to put 2 in. The first one is going to be right here on the front towards the middle of the left side, and then the second window is going to be right over here in the middle of this 3 wide gap on the right side of the building. And now for the next step, we're going to be adding a lot more support to the build. So for this, we're going to take our full blocks and we'll place one right here. Then on top of that, we will do a stair. And then on top of the stair, we'll do one of these half slabs like that. Now these are going to go all the way around the build on every side of these little pillars that you see, except on this one right here. And also there's going to be one spot on the front right there. But every single other pillar, you are going to be able to place those in. Now, in order to get up to the door, what we're going to do is place 2 stairs on this row, which kind of lines up with the little support sections we added. Then you can take your stone brick stairs and do a little outline on the outside like this. And then for this block right here, you are going to switch it up and do a full block instead. And then these 3 blocks that are empty right here in the middle, just go ahead and fill those in with cobblestone. And now, as you can see, I have added a lot more detail. First off, by adding this little cover above the door, that's just made completely out of the oak wood stairs. And then to support this, I just did 2 pillars of the fences on either side of that. And then also to support these little sticky addy bits, what I decided to do was take my spruce wood stairs and place those underneath the spruce wood logs. And then one more thing you may want to do to the first floor, especially where you have all the stone bricks, is to take your stairs and just kind of throw those in and replace a lot of the full blocks with them, just because it makes it look a bit more run down and kind of broken up. So that's going to really change how well these really flat sides look. And then on to the next step, what we're going to do is start shaping our roof. Now it's not going to be on this block, but instead we're going to bring it out 1 more and start here. So we're going to place 2 on either side like this, and then for the next one we will go up 2 once again, but then after these we're just going to go up 1 at a time like this, and then you can do the same exact thing right over there on the back side. And now, depending on how you want your roof to look, if you want it to be sort of plain and just kind of flat, not have a lot of interruptions in it, you may just want to leave it like this. But if you want to add even more detail and kind of make it look a lot less plain, you may want to consider placing these 2 blocks in and then adding a little second roof right here. It's not going to be as big as the other 2, as you can tell right now. We're just going to go up 2 at a time like we did for the first one, but then instead of having these 3 on the top, we're only going to have 1 like this. Now, if you're wondering why we're not placing one of these over here on the left side, it's because I'm planning on placing a little forge in the interior as well, which would kind of create the need for a chimney on the outside, and a rather large chimney in this case because it is a blacksmith. So I feel like that would create the same amount of detail as this window would right here. So we're going to leave this how it is. Now for the next step, what we're going to do is make it easier to place in a lot of our roofing materials. So to do that, what we can do is place a crossbeam connecting all of the roofs together like this. Now there's no need to place it on the bottom of the double stack ones. You'll only need to place it on the top, and that should be a good enough guideline. Now when you get to a point like this where the two roofs will kind of intersect, that's when you're going to want to just leave it like this and not go any farther. And now what we're going to do is sort of outline the roof. So we'll take our full block of spruce wood and we'll place it like this right above that first too tall section, and we'll do this all the way around on every side. And now that all of those in, pretty much every single other spot is going to be made completely out of these stairs. So we'll place the first set underneath those full blocks like this, facing upside down, and then the next set will be facing outwards on the left and right side of that upside down stair, and then all of the other stairs will kind of start connecting and working their way up to the top of each one of these sections. So this is how you do the smaller one like this, and then of course don't forget to place in your upside down stairs. And then for the bigger one, it is going to be a little bit different just because there are a couple more stairs. So this one's going to end up like this, and then don't forget to place in the upside down stair here, and also that upright one on the outside of that, and then the other side will be the exact same. And when you're done placing these in, as always, don't forget to do your upside down stairs beneath all of these, just so it looks a bit more meaty and sturdy. Now you gotta admit right now it is looking kind of weird, so to fix this and also make it a bit more stylized, what we're gonna do is start by placing a half slab right here, then above that we'll do a full block, and on the front side of the full block we'll do a upside down stair and then a half slab above that. So that's gonna be our sort of design all the way around for each section. Now on the middle of the top of each roof, that's where you're gonna wanna place a half slab, because that's where everything's going to kind of connect. And then stair-wise, you'll do one facing out towards the little design, and then all the others will be facing the opposite way until they connect with that half slab, and then the same will go for every other side. And one of the last steps for the roof is just to connect all the bottoms with the spruce wood stairs like this. And when you're done with that, you can take your roofing material and fill this in. Now, if you're using the oak wood stairs, you can always just do a row of full blocks on the bottom like this, and then do stairs on top of that, and then of course stairs the rest of the way up. But if you are doing the full blocks of clay like me, what you're gonna wanna do is do a double stack of the full blocks right here on that first spot, and then the rest of it will just be one block tall like this. Now we're going to move on to filling in the walls on the second floor. So to begin this on the front, since it is so big and empty, we're going to create a little pillar right here in the middle just to kind of break that up. And then on either side of the pillar, we'll fill that in with our wall material. In my case, it's going to be the white stained clay. However, if you are in the default texture pack, I would highly recommend just using some white wool, or even a mixture of the white wool and the light gray wool. So after you've filled that in, you can carve out some windows like this, and then do the exact same thing over on the back. And for this side, what we're going to do is fill in our wall material in these two little small gaps. And then for this one right here, I think it's probably small enough to where we don't have to place a pillar in the middle, so we'll just fill it in like this, and then maybe just do a little window right here in the middle like that. And then of course, just to make everything on the inside look a bit nicer, you can fill in those two gaps. Now this side, this is probably going to be the simplest. All you need to do is do a row of your wall material like that, and then you are done. Now admittedly, this does look good, or at least better than it did, but we're going to want even more detail. So we're going to take out our half slabs, do a row of this right beneath the second floor. Then we'll take our fences and just fill in right above this like that. And then you can also do the same thing over for this smaller window, except we'll only need two of those half slabs, and then once again you can fill in those fences. And one other thing you can do to add some detail is right above these sticky outy bits that are beneath a roof, you can also place a fence block in those. And now that the rest of the build is looking quite nice, we're going to move over to the most boring and plain side and try to fix this up and make it look just as good as the rest of the build. So to start off with, we're going to make a shed, and to do this you are going to need to remove each one of these little detailed pillars and support sections, and then we can start. So the first spot is going to be 2 blocks out from this original pillar we made on the right, and we'll raise this one up 4 blocks tall. Then we'll skip a gap of 3 to the left of that and do another pillar like that. So we will also need to sort of extend both of these at 1 block, and then to finish it off we'll do a little cross beam like that. So now we're done with the spruce wood for the most part, so we'll switch over to our oak wood planks and just fill this in all the way like that. And you know what? We're actually going to try to make it look a little nicer, so we'll switch both of these out for some stone bricks, and we'll also do this on the front, and then of course leave room for a door, but you can fill in the rest. So we'll switch back to our oak wood blocks, do a little archway for our door to fit into, and we'll just put that in right there, and then you can also fill in this side with your oak wood planks. And just like we did for the stone bricks on the bottom, you are going to want to throw in some oak wood stairs to kind of mix this up and make it look a bit more run down and realistic. So you'll have those, and by placing in this extra bit of oak wood, it does create a nice little match for this little overhang if you did end up placing that on the front door. And it's got a nice contrast with the rest of the build. So to finish this thing off, we are going to switch over to our spruce wood stairs, and we'll do a row of these all the way across the front, and then you will need to create an overhang like this on both sides. And then you can start to work your way up to the top until you reach the roof right there. And then, as always, don't forget to place in your upside down stairs like this. And you will end up with a little gap right there. So to fill that in, just go ahead and place another oak wood full block. And then you can do the same thing over here. And once again, raise this up until you hit the roof. And now to fill in this big open section, just grab your roofing material and drag 2 rows across like this. Now, in my opinion, this still looks a little too plain for me, so I'm going to remove these 3 blocks and make a little bit of a design. So we'll place these 2 upside down stairs on both sides, and then we'll do 2 upright stairs like this. And then, just like we see right up there, we're going to do that exact same design. So we'll take our half slab, or in this case, since we do have the red and that does look a bit weird, we will choose to use a stair like that, and then we'll do a full block, or for me, I'll just use the double stack of the half slabs, then a stair, and then once again, half slab on top of that. And then we're going to try to work our way up like this until we hit right there, and that should have this looking a lot better than it did. And then, as always, don't forget to add in some support to the build, so you'll take for this case, we'll just use a stair and then a half slab on top of this, and you can do this on all the sides where you have a spruce wood pillar. And now what I've done in here is made a little rough draft of where the forge is going to go on the interior. Believe me, this is not what it's going to look like in the end, but it's given me a nice guideline of the section I'm going to need to cut out for the chimney. So as you can see, it is just 1 block to the right of where you had the spruce wood pillar. So right in here, I'm going to do a quick little thing with my bricks. And as always, if you don't like the look of this material, please feel free to use a different one, such as cobblestone or stone bricks, or anything else you might like. So I think that should be high enough. In fact, we might want to go 1 more up like that, just to make it a bit more defined. And then you can tell this is really flat and boring, so we are going to need to fix that. Now, for me, that skinny little pillar of bricks was definitely not enough to classify as a blacksmith's chimney, so I did some work and came up with this. Now, there's really a lot of things you could do with the chimney. I mean, if you like the skinny thing, feel free to use it. They're really based on your opinion on whether you like these things or not, but I did some work, came up with something a lot more sturdy and stylized, and for me, it just really looks a lot more like it would belong to a blacksmith. So for this, I did do a little pattern with the stairs. The ones on the bottom upside down, and then the ones above it are facing upright, so it creates a cool little effect going all the way down. And then on the bottom, I did add a lot of these full blocks just to give it a lot more support on the bottom. Now, one quick tip you want to keep in mind when you're building the smoke like this is to make sure all of the chimneys in the town have their smoke pointing the same direction. And if you want to make it super realistic, you can just kind of look at the clouds and make sure the smoke goes the same direction as those, and that'll even help you kind of make sure they all face the same direction. And last but not least, we do need to make the outdoor forge, so we can start this by finding this pillar right here and going 3 blocks to the left of it and placing a pillar of 5 right there. And we'll also do another gap of 3 and place another pillar in like this, and then you can skip, instead of going 3, we're going to go 2 to the left and raise this one up 5 as well. Next, you're going to want to keep your spruce wood logs in hand and connect each one of these with a crossbeam, and you will even want to do one all the way across the front like this. And for this, you are going to need to remove that stair, but just make sure you connect all these together. Now, for shaping the roof, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different for here. Instead of making it super even, I'm going to do something like this. So I'll go up 2 blocks like that, and as you can see, that's not going to line up correctly, so I'll just place 1 block right here. And after you've got that done, you're going to want to take out your spruce wood stairs and do a row of these all the way across here until you get so it's 1 block overhang like that, and then just work your way up to the top. Go ahead and stop right there, and then go to the other side and work your way down on the bottom. Now for this, just to give it that different look, I'm going to leave it right here instead of going down 1 more, so it matches up with that. And then, as always, don't forget to place in your upside down stairs like this, and then connect one more row along the back side. After you've got that done, don't forget to place in your little design. So once again, it is a half slab, then a full block on top of that, then a stair on the outside face of the full block, and then to top it off, just place a half slab on the top of that stair. And once you've done that, you can place in a cross beam like I've done right here, just to make it easier to place in all these stairs. And the first one will face this way out towards the design, and then as you guys probably remember, the rest of them do face the opposite way. And now that we've got that in, we can take out our roofing material and just do a couple rows of these on the front, and then I think the back side, since it is a bit shorter, will only need one row. Now to finish this off, what you're going to do is take your stone brick full blocks and do a row of these on the bottom, and then on top you can once again fill that in with your oak wood planks. And then keep in mind, like I've said before, to throw in a mixture of some stairs in there, and if you want to, I haven't tried this yet, but you could probably throw in a few half slabs so you have some holes that you can actually look all the way through. And for some extra detail, don't forget you can always throw in some stuff like this, such as the spruce wood stair underneath the roof, and also some little support stuff on the bottom. So I was planning on waiting to show you guys this for the interior show around, but then I figured, why make you guys wait? So this is what I've come up with for the outdoor forge section. So as you can see, for this case, I did go with the smaller chimney, and for this area it did looking a lot better, but on this case the big one looked better. So it's really kind of, it depends on your opinion on what you like better, and also where you're building it. So there's kind of a time and place for everything. But we have over here to the left, as you can see, some containers for maybe weapons or armor he's shipping out, or maybe even some supplies he's using to craft the items here. And then this is really cool. We have the anvil, and instead of, as you can see in my hand, it's like a dark iron. It's almost like a marble when I placed it down here, which is kind of cool. I'm not sure if it's maybe biome specific, but that's how it turned out, and I do really like it. What else do we have back here? We got some storage, some recipes or blueprints, a little workbench station for him to craft his items or whatever, or maybe store some more stuff. And then of course we have the forge. Oops. And there we go, now it's fixed. And I'll sit here really quick just in case some of you do want to copy this down, but feel free to make this however you want, or maybe even have it a bit bigger, or even extend across the whole thing, since, I mean, this is a blacksmith, so feel free to make the forges and crafting areas as big as you want. But yeah, this is what I've come up with, and I think that should be all we need to cover today. We got this side looking good, we got the back looking pretty good, and in fact, this side is still looking a bit plain, so if you want to, you could always throw in a few windows back here, or even do some of these things just to give it a little more detail. But yeah, that's going to do it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little small blacksmith, and then like I said, of course, we will be doing a bigger one in the main city itself, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and as always, I will see you in the next one.